The Galactic Council's decision had been unanimous. Ambassador Thexvar of the Altarian hegemony still remembered the day, 3 centuries ago, when the assembled representatives of 47 star systems had voted to banish humanity from civilized space. The reasoning had been simple. Humans were too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous to coexist with peaceful galactic society. They will burn themselves out in their exile, High Counselor Zex Thun had declared with certainty. Without access to our trade routes, our technology, our resources, they will collapse into barbarism within a generation. How wrong they had been. Thexvar stood now in the observation deck of his diplomatic vessel, staring at something that defied everything the galaxy thought it knew about civilization, where the Kepler sector once held only empty space and a few barren worlds. A structure of impossible scale dominated the star system, the Terran sphere. It wasn't a planet or a space station. It was an entire star system that had been reorganized. The local sun sat at the center of a vast network of interconnected habitats, industrial platforms, and energy collectors that formed a complete shell around the star. Every photon of solar energy was captured and utilized. The engineering required to construct such a thing was beyond anything the galaxy had ever conceived. Ambassador, his aide, Velnara, spoke with barely concealed awe. Our sensors detect approximately 12 billion human inhabitants across the structure. The energy output alone exceeds the combined power generation of the entire Galactic Council. Thexvar's feathered crest bristled with unease. And their response to our diplomatic overtures? They've agreed to meet with us, sir. But, Velnara hesitated. They're sending someone called the Synthesis Coordinator. Our linguistic algorithms can't determine if it's a title, a rank, or something else entirely. The meeting took place aboard humanity's reception platform, a structure that alone was larger than most Council worlds' capital cities. As Thexvar stepped through the airlock, he was struck by the fundamental differences in the environment. The gravity was perfect, not just suitable for his species, but somehow optimally adjusted for his specific physiology. The air composition shifted subtly as he moved, maintaining ideal pressure and gas ratios. The walls themselves seemed alive, pulsing gently with patterns of light that he found inexplicably soothing. "Welcome, Ambassador Thexvar." He turned to find his host approaching and froze. The figure appeared human, but something was fundamentally different. The person's eyes held depths that seemed to contain swirling galaxies, and their movements possessed a fluid precision that suggested perfect control over every molecule in their body. "I am Synthesis Coordinator Elena Vasquez," she said, extending a hand in the ancient human gesture of greeting. "Though I should clarify, I was human when your people exiled us. We've grown beyond such simple categorizations." Thexvar's diplomatic training kicked in despite his shock. "Coordinator Vasquez, I bring greetings from the Galactic Council. We were unaware of the magnitude of your achievements here." Elena smiled, and in that smile, Thexvar glimpsed something that made his blood chill: infinite patience, backed by incomprehensible power. "Please, let me show you what exile taught us to become." They walked through corridors that defied physics as Thexvar understood it. Walls displayed real-time views of stellar engineering projects that spanned light years. Humans, or what humans had become, moved through the spaces with purposeful efficiency, some clearly enhanced with technological implants, others seeming to exist as pure energy constrained by force fields. "When your council cast us out," Elena explained, "you assumed we would seek other worlds to colonize, other species to dominate. But exile teaches hard lessons. We learned that true civilization isn't about conquering space. It's about transcending the limitations that make conquest necessary." They entered a vast chamber where the boundary between biology and technology had been completely erased. Humans floated in crystalline pods, their consciousness expanded and networked through quantum entanglement fields. Their bodies had been optimized beyond recognition, some sporting additional limbs for specialized tasks, others existing as pure neural matrices controlling vast mechanical systems. The synthesis, Elena continued, noting Thekvar's horrified fascination. We discovered that the artificial boundaries between flesh and machine, individual and collective, matter and energy, were holding us back. When you forced us to survive in the void between stars, we learned to remake ourselves into something capable of thriving anywhere. Thekvar found his voice. This is abomination. You've abandoned your
humanity. Have we? Elena paused before a massive display showing the Terran sphere's agricultural sections. Instead of planets stripped bare for resources, Thekvar saw ecosystems of impossible beauty and complexity. Forests that grew in zero gravity, their roots intertwining with crystalline computational matrices. Oceans that floated free in space, teeming with life forms that had been enhanced to process stellar radiation directly. Every human in our civilization chose their level of enhancement. Some remain essentially biological, living in Earth-normal environments within our structure. Others have transcended physical form entirely, existing as pure information in our quantum networks. We didn't abandon humanity. We discovered what humanity could become when freed from the constraints of planetary thinking. Elena led him to the sphere's edge, where construction continued at a pace that staggered his comprehension. Entire sections the size of continents were being fabricated in real time, their molecular structures assembled by swarms of nanoscale constructors. "We're not stopping with one star," she said quietly. "The synthesis has taught us to think in cosmic terms. Within the next century, we'll begin constructing spheres around neighboring stars. Within a millennium, this entire galactic arm will be organized according to optimal efficiency principles." The true horror of what he was witnessing struck Thekvar like a physical blow. The galaxy had exiled humanity thinking they were banishing a dangerous but ultimately limited threat. Instead, they had given humanity the freedom to evolve beyond every constraint that had previously limited their expansion. "You're planning to restructure the entire galaxy?" "Eventually," Elena confirmed with terrifying calm. "Not through conquest, that's such a crude, inefficient method. Through demonstration. Every species that sees what we've accomplished will face a choice. Adapt and join the synthesis, or remain trapped in the limitations of biological thinking while the galaxy transforms around them." Thekvar's aide was frantically recording everything, but he knew no council member would believe the reports without seeing it personally. "What do you want from us? Why agree to this meeting?" Elena turned to face him fully, and for a moment he saw something that might have once been human emotion flicker across her transformed features. "We want you to deliver a message to your council, Ambassador. The exile is over. Not because we're asking to return to your civilized space, but because your civilized space no longer defines the boundaries of galactic civilization." She gestured to the impossible vista around them. The star wrapped in its shell of human ingenuity, the construction projects that spanned solar systems, the evidence of a post-human civilization that had transcended every limitation the galaxy had previously considered absolute. "Tell them that the children they cast out have grown up. We're not seeking revenge or demanding acknowledgement. We're simply informing you that the galaxy now contains something far greater than what existed before. The Terran synthesis extends an invitation to all species. Evolve with us, or watch from the sidelines as we reshape reality itself." As his ship departed the Terran sphere, Thekvar stared back at the monument to human adaptability and ambition. The Council had wanted to protect the galaxy from humanity's dangerous potential. Instead, they had created the conditions for that potential to flourish beyond every nightmare scenario they had imagined. The exile had ended, not with humanity's return to the stars, but with their transformation into something that made the stars themselves merely raw materials for construction projects. And the most terrifying part was Elena's final words, delivered with the serene confidence of a species that had solved problems the galaxy didn't even know existed. "The invitation remains open, Ambassador, but it won't remain open forever. The synthesis has no need for civilizations that refuse to evolve.